You're listening to Puff Digital's Into the Weeds podcast, brought to you in part by Puff Puff Posts and HigherMentality.com.
The new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell.
David, I'm really happy you're here, my man.
Well, thank you. I'm here. I love all people, all religions.
David Liebe Hart.
Thank you.
You're a very accomplished actor. You're a musician, a singer, an artist.
Yeah, I do all that. My family used to come to Canada for family reunions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm in fact I'm part Canadian, French, German, Norwegian, and Algonquin, Apache and Sumac Indian, and Irish and Scandinavian, and Swedish and Norwegian. And my white side of the family belonged to the Quaker Friends Church and the Mennonites before they were Catholic and before they were Christian Scientists. And they, the white side of my family, freed slaves from the South up to Canada.
Wow, that's very cool.
That's
We
incredible.
have a lot of signage as you travel through Ontario of all of the sort of different sites where the Underground Railroad went. So you can find the small villages, usually like closer to Lake Ontario and stuff like that, that have the historic sites. It's
We're gonna have
really
to hit
cool.
you guys up for a Mexican railroad soon.
Muchas gracias. I used to date beautiful Latino women, but I don't hear from them anymore.
You have a rich history in the LA acting scene, though. I mean,
Yeah, I
you've been
went
going since where did the acting begin? You went to an acting school your
I
parents
went
sent
to
you to?
Goodman Theater in Chicago. My parents paid for me to Goodman Theater, and Marjorie Lord, who played on the Make Room for Danny, paid for my family to take me to Hollywood to read for the Andy Griffith Show, which was a spin-off for Make Room for Danny. Danny Thomas went to Mayberry, and he speeded, and the actor that played Andy Griffith arrested him in Mayberry, and then he got a spin-off called The Andy Griffith Show.
Right.
And I was supposed to be Opie, Ron Howard's best friend on that. And then my parents all of a sudden didn't want me to break into show business.
So
Really?
they put you towards it, and then they said, "Oh no, we don't like
Now-
this."
Well, and then they kept the money that Danny Thomas was the producer of the Make Room for Danny, the Andy Griffith Show, and then it had a spin-off called the Gomer Pyle USA.
very
And
famous.
then they had Mayberry.
Wow.
And I could have been a big star if my parents would have let me go into show business.
But you stayed in acting regardless.
Well, I stayed in acting. When I got out of service, I came to California in 1976 to pursue an acting career.
What years did you get in the service?
Oh, just 4. I didn't stay in because I had cancer in the chest.
Oh, wow.
And my parents found
I did not know this.
Yeah, I had cancer taken out of my chest. I had to get it, or it would have killed, because my cousin Phyllis McKinnon died of Hopkins disease. It ate up her whole body. And Mary Baker Eddy says if you don't have the understanding to heal yourself through prayer, to go to a doctor. But a lot of people still try to handle it through prayer, and it's
Right.
And I just recently had to go to the dentist to get a lot of bad teeth removed because I have gingivitis, or would have eaten, or I would have lost all my teeth. And
So it's better to go to the doctor, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so I've been to the doctor, and right now I had to get a lot of medicine shot up in my gums because the gingivitis has been so bad, and then one doctor told me to rinse my mouth with coconut oil, along with the medicine they shoot up in my gums. So I'm able to keep. I have one loose tooth.
It's loose, huh?
And I want to get it pulled, but right now this tour came up, and
You got to finish the tour. You got to give the fans what they want, right?
yeah, and give the fans what I want. And then it's rough being on tour because I'm grateful for everything Jonah's done for me. He's a super brilliant guy. I met him when he interviewed me on his radio station 6 years ago, and things weren't working out between me and Adam Papagan. And this other guy I work with, Bill Shy, and he's more honest, and he's hardworking, and he gives me my most of my help. But I had to pay that new car you see I drove in. Jonah had to pay $1,000, and I had to pay $1,000. And then Jonah didn't like it that the car was the first one we got was a gas guzzler. He wanted to save money. He likes to cut corners, so he got a smaller car, and we have to stop more frequently at the filling station now.
Oh, smaller tank, yeah. So,
But that was already.
so you're on the road right now?
We're on the road.
And-
But I like guarantees, not what you pay at the door.
Door deals, yeah.
The door deals are rip off.
It's tough out there for musicians these
and then
days.
we had to pay the other performing acts that performed with us, and I don't think that's fair because Jonah and I are on the road, but Jonah still wants to give them.
So you're doing a 2-piece band now?
Yeah, well, right now it's just me and Jonah, but I used to be in a 5-piece band when I used to be with the David Liebe Hart band.
I performed with you in San Antonio.
Well,
My group.
I used to be with Adam Papagan,
Yeah.
and we used to do punk rock music everywhere. And what happened was it just Phil Shy and him just weren't purely honest with me. And I'm grateful for what they did do for me. They did make me famous, but they just weren't purely honest with me. And
Who's that?
I don't the guys I used to work with, and everybody in a punk rock band in the entertainment business seems to get ripped off. It's really bad. I have 10 albums out, and I haven't gotten paid a penny from them. And I'm ASCAP, and I belong to the Musicians Union, and I belong to Screen Actors Guild. The problem is they're ripping off the musicians. A lot of musicians and actors and actresses die poor because the people rip them off.
Right.
But anyway, I also like to talk about something. The TV shows I used to watch and the actors and actresses and performers that I looked up to, they were my role models. And I learned from them by watching them on TV, as well as going to acting school, as well as going to music school. And I just can't believe my favorite clown, Monty Melvin, has been excluded from being put on WGM internet site. They don't even hardly mention his name. He produced the Bozo Show. He was the floor director for the Bozo Show. I learned to do stand-up comedy by watching him on the Bozo Show. He replaced Bozo when Bozo got sick for 8 years. And even the guy that has the archives, George, refuses he's with the Chicago politics not to have anything about Monty Melvin up. He has plenty of pictures of Cookie, plenty of pictures of Ringmaster Mr. Ned, Ollie Oliver, who used to mimic black people, Sandy the Clown, but not one picture of Monty Melvin. And Monty Melvin was so clever and funny, and he had riddles on the top of his head. He looked like the Joker dressed in blue and turquoise. He had all beautiful blue, and he had glasses, and his face was all white, and he was the most funniest clown. And I think Jewish people have to face racism like black people, and I think somebody did something Chicago politics against him. The same thing happened to my favorite 2 railroads. The Union Pacific used to be called the Chicago Northwestern, and they did not like the electric interurbans that paralleled them. In fact, many of the electric trains were sold to Ontario, London, with your electric train used to be part of the Milwaukee Electric and the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. And when they went out of business, they sold the cars to your old interurban line that used to run in London, Ontario. But that line went out of business for some strange reason. But there's been like a curse on the electric interurbans. But the Chicago Northwestern bought out the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad because they wanted to have the monopoly going from Chicago to Milwaukee and for the Chicagoland area. And then they put in the Chicago Tribune. Went out for a lack of money. The North Shore put people right in on the L Loop, right into the downtown district. They had a train called the Electroliner that was the first bullet train in the world that went 200 miles an hour, built in 1941.
1941, they were able to get it up to 200 miles an hour?
Look up the Electroliner. It was even air conditioned. And the people took a cut in pay to have new equipment because they were in competition with the Chicago Northwestern, the 400 line, and they were in competition with the Hiawatha, the Milwaukee Road. And they had stiff competition. But I think it's dirty Chicago politics. Now, they don't have it any mention of the North Shore, no pictures, no nothing. Chicago politics, if they don't like something, they stamp it out. They don't put up any pictures about it. They make it so people can't remember what it is. And
They erase history.
It's really rough.
Wow.
And I called up. I'll tell you what happened. I've been having some weird dreams on this tour. I had an out-of-body
What have you been
experience.
dreaming about on this tour?
I don't take drugs since I was raised in Christian Science. I'm not prejudiced against people that do.
No.
But I want to say one good thing. I feel they should make an incense of marijuana because it smells good. And every time I smell it, even though I don't take it, it makes me want to have sex with a woman. I mean, it just...
Really?
I don't take drugs because I was raised in Christian Science, but the scent is so... that's why I
Pleasing.
wrote that song, Michael Likes to Smoke His Weed. I toured with Adam Papagan, and they smoke weed all the time. And his best friend, Michael, smoked weed all the time. And I used to watch them get high, and the room was covered with a big cloud of smoke. It was like a steam engine or a pipe that you saw during the winter just puffing stuff. But as long as it made them happy, to each his own. I'm not prejudiced against people that take drugs as long as they're happy. I'm a liberal Christian Scientist. I know we need to stop hating and learning to respect and love people for what they are.